If you're going to say things like that, why did you bring me here in the first place? And now you're humiliating me? Kim Dan left Ju Jae-kyung's home, heartbroken and embarrassed. Watching his back as he left, Ju Jae-kyung couldn't understand. Why is he crying? Did I say something wrong? He recalled what had happened last night after he took Kim Dan home. Just as he was about to turn and leave, the drunk Kim Dan suddenly clung onto him tightly, crying, begging him not to leave. It turned out Kim Dan had mistaken him for his grandmother, sobbing that he was lonely and didn't want to be alone. What the hell is this? No matter how much Ju Jae-kyung tried, he couldn't shake him off. In the end, he had no choice but to bring him back. Kim Dan begged Ju Jae-kyung to advance next month's salary. Yesterday, he received 14 million won from Ju Jae-kyung. He used this money to pay for his grandmother's cancer treatment and loan interest. Although the balance was low, the increased interest for the first time was still largely repaid. At this rate, the interest will be fully repaid soon. But if he has to repay the principal as well, how many years will he have to spend with Ju Jae-kyung? Just when Kim Dan felt hopeful about the future, he suddenly received a call. The house will be demolished next week, and he is the only one left who hasn't moved. If he doesn't move out this week, he will have to pay compensation. After hanging up the phone, he remained unsettled for a long time. He didn't know what to do, and there were still 20 days until the next payday. This was the place he lived with his grandmother. He had promised his grandmother that they would return here after she was discharged. But that wasn't the worst part. On top of that, the debt collectors came knocking. Kim Dan, we finally found you. Are you planning to run away? Kim Dan didn't understand why they were still coming after him, even though he paid the interest on time. The principal and interest together should be much more than this. This is outrageous. Where did you suddenly get so much money? Don't drag us down with you. If you could pay back so much debt at once, you would have already finished repaying it. If you can't pay next month, I'll go after your grandmother. You'd better work hard from now on, got it? The next day, Kim Dan arrived at the gym covered in bruises. The coach was worried about his condition, but Kim Dan lied, saying he had fallen accidentally. But the coach immediately knew the injuries weren't from a fall. From a distance, Ju Jae-kyung said disdainfully, "You know the match schedule is set, right? Do what you're supposed to do." The coach was furious at his attitude. At this moment, Kim Dan felt uneasy, but he had no choice. He had to ask for an advance. He stretched Ju Jae-kyung's ankle and told him the number of repetitions needed. He was so nervous that all he could hear was his own heartbeat. But he still mustered up the courage and asked, "Could you possibly pay me next month's salary in advance?" Although I just got paid yesterday, I need to move now. I'm sorry, but this is the first and last time. Please. Ju Jae-kyung suddenly sat up. Unbelievable. You already spent all that money? Do I look easy to bully? Am I your ATM? I know this is a shameless request, so I will do what I must. I'll do whatever you ask. Please. Ju Jae-kyung agreed to his request. Then he suddenly pulled him up. "It just so happens that I have something I want to do right now." Kim Dan desperately begged for an advance in front of Ju Jae-kyung. But Ju Jae-kyung was no ATM. His salary always came at a price. This time, he directly took Kim Dan home.
Welcome to We Read, your gateway to a diverse world of novels. We Read offers a ranking feature, where you can explore the top novels. With the sorting option, you can filter by your favorite tags and find exactly what you're in the mood for. Once you enter a novel, you can see the number of chapters, making it simple to jump to the one you want, whether you're picking up where you left off or skipping ahead. Plus, you can customize how you read. Choose between scroll, flip, or slide modes for the perfect reading experience. Customize even further by changing font size, modifying spacing, choosing a font style that suits you best, selecting your preferred background color, and toggling between light and dark mode. Want to share your thoughts? Leave comments and read reviews from other readers. Download We Read now to explore exciting, high-quality stories.
Kim Dan didn't know what Ju Jae-kyung intended to do. Every past experience had already exhausted him. Could it be that Ju Jae-kyung wanted to torment him? But even if he was scared, he had to obey. Otherwise, his situation would only get worse. As Kim Dan rubbed his bruised arm, Ju Jae-kyung walked in. "Dr. Kim Dan, do you drink? Someone gave me some nice liquor." "I don't drink often, but I saw you're quite good at it," he said while pouring a full glass. Kim Dan felt it was a bit sudden, but he still took the glass and drank it all. Ju Jae-kyung casually tossed a box onto the sofa. Just as Kim Dan was wondering what it was, Ju Jae-kyung explained that it was a toy he had bought before but never used. Kim Dan thought, he's already an adult, yet he still plays with toys like a kid. Innocent as he was, Kim Dan even asked how to use it. Ju Jae-kyung gave a wicked smile. "You'll find out soon enough." Kim Dan obediently lay down. Maybe because he was too nervous, Kim Dan felt even more sensitive today. Even with just his fingers, he could feel so much sensitivity. Is this really my body? Why am I reacting like this? When Kim Dan saw Ju Jae-kyung take out the toy, he was shocked. This is way too much. Oh my God, am I going to die? Why does something like this even exist? But Ju Jae-kyung smirked. "Thanks to me, you get to experience this." At this moment, Kim Dan felt that Ju Jae-kyung must be crazy. He just wanted to escape immediately. But Ju Jae-kyung didn't give him the chance. Kim Dan was forcibly inserted. He started to feel excited. Kim Dan quickly grabbed the bedsheet. But the pink object kept advancing. He was in unbearable pain. Seeing this, Ju Jae-kyung felt extremely satisfied. It aroused all of his desires. Kim Dan could only let him do whatever he wanted. This is just too. At this moment, Kim Dan probably also feels really good, right? Ju Jae-kyung watched the scene with pride. The next morning, Kim Dan was forcibly woken up by Ju Jae-kyung. Is the work done? The next second, a towel was thrown at him. It's been over for a while. Get lost. I still need to go for a run. How can you just lie here sleeping? Ju Jae-kyung was very dissatisfied. You fell asleep after just an hour of work yesterday. How weak are you? And you still want an advance? Why is your stamina so bad? Before he could finish, he heard a loud noise. Kim Dan collapsed from exhaustion. Ju Jae-kyung looked at him with disdain. Is he really that weak?